Welcome to CS. Lewis Spirit. If you've ever looked at the world and felt that something isn't right, that an unseen darkness is quietly wrapping around everything we know, this story is for you. Because tonight, we step into a war not fought with weapons or machines, but with faith, light, and the human soul itself. Once, the world was filled with peace, or at least the illusion of it. Cities shined with glass towers, people smiled for cameras, and technology promised paradise. But beneath the light, something ancient had awakened. It started as a whisper, barely heard, spreading through minds and dreams. The world is mine now. Most ignored it. Some laughed it off. But a few felt the chill behind the words. Among them was Elias, a quiet history teacher who lived in a small town. He wasn't a preacher or a prophet, just a man who used to believe the world was good, until the night he saw the sky turn red. Not fire, not sunset, but a deep, living red that seemed to breathe. And from that night onward, he began to dream, dreams of angels and fallen stars, of cities burning without flame, and of a voice that said, "The devil has claimed the world." At first, Elias thought it was madness. But soon, reality began to echo his dreams. News channels started reporting strange events. Clocks freezing at midnight in entire regions, children speaking words they didn't understand, and a symbol, a black circle with a line through its center, appearing on buildings overnight. No one could explain it. Scientists blamed magnetic storms. Governments blamed hackers. But those who could feel the spiritual tremor knew better. And somewhere far beyond the visible sky, heaven stirred. For the first time in ages, the silence was broken. The Archangel Michael stood before the throne, his wings dimmed by sorrow. "They have forgotten you," he said softly. "They bow to the one who deceived them." And a voice, calm, powerful, eternal, answered, "Then they shall remember. What happened next would change everything." Back on Earth, Elias received a letter with no sender. Just a single line written in silver ink. "When the trumpets sound, follow the light." He didn't know what it meant. But that night, thunder rolled across a cloudless sky, deep, endless, like something ancient awakening. All over the world, people began to see things. Flashes of light, reflections in mirrors that weren't their own, shadows that moved even when there was no sun. The devil had not come in red horns or fire. He came through convenience, distraction, and pride, offering everything humans already wanted. A better life, a faster world, power without prayer. People didn't need convincing. They invited him in. Elias watched as friends he loved changed. Not suddenly, but slowly, as if something hollowed out their joy. They smiled, but their eyes were empty. They talked, but their words carried no warmth. He realized the truth. The world wasn't ending in a storm. It was being taken in silence. Meanwhile, in a realm between heaven and earth, the angels prepared. Michael's army, beings of light who had watched humanity since its first breath, began to descend. But they didn't come to destroy. They came to awaken the few who still carried faith, the ones whose hearts had not yet been claimed. Elias was one of them. One night, he woke to find a figure standing at the end of his bed. Not threatening, not even human, really, just radiant, a presence that made the room hum. The figure spoke gently. "The world has forgotten who it belongs to, but the Creator hasn't forgotten the world. You have been chosen to see." Before Elias could reply, the figure vanished, leaving behind a single white feather glowing faintly on his floor. From that moment, the war began. Not on battlefields, but within hearts, dreams, and choices. Every act of kindness, every prayer, every truth spoken against lies became a weapon. Every selfish act, every deception, every ounce of greed gave the enemy strength. The war wasn't far away. It was happening in every living soul. As the signs grew, so did the fear. The black circle, the mark of the fallen, began to spread across the world. People claimed it was a symbol of unity, a new global movement. Billboards lit up with slogans. One mind, one world, one future. But Elias knew better. It was the same whisper, the same shadow, the same lie. And just as hope seemed to fade, the heavens tore open. A light unlike anything seen before streaked across the sky. Not like a meteor, but like a living flame. People across nations stopped and looked up, speechless. Cameras couldn't capture it. Scientists couldn't explain it. But deep inside, every soul recognized it. The call of heaven answering back. Elias stood in the street, trembling as the light fell toward the earth, splitting into thousands of smaller lights, each one landing in a different corner of the world. When the first one touched the ground, time itself seemed to stop. The air vibrated, the sky pulsed, and a voice echoed inside his chest. The army of God has come. But what no one knew yet, not even Elias, was that the battle for the world's soul would not begin in heaven or hell. It would begin with him. Elias barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, the same image returned. That feather glowing on his floor, pulsing with faint light, almost alive. He didn't dare touch it. Something in his heart whispered that it wasn't meant to be handled, only understood. By morning, the glow had faded. Only a faint shimmer remained, like moonlight trapped in dust. He reached for it carefully, half expecting it to crumble. Instead, it felt warm, almost breathing. A memory, not an object. He tucked it gently inside an old leather Bible his grandmother had given him years ago. He hadn't opened that book in a long time. Maybe that was the point. When he stepped outside, the world looked the same but felt different. The air carried a stillness he couldn't name, as if everything was waiting. The sun was bright, yet the shadows seemed longer. Even the birds were quiet. At the corner cafe, people were talking about the light from the night before. Some said it was a meteor shower, others called it a government test. A few claimed it was an alien signal. But when Elias overheard a child ask her mother, "Mom, did you hear the music in the sky?" he froze, because he had heard it too. Not with his ears, but with his heart. A sound that wasn't sound. A vibration that carried meaning without words, the call of something divine. He wanted to believe it was all in his head. But deep down, he knew the truth. Something greater was unfolding. That evening, as he returned home, he saw it again. That black circle symbol, freshly painted on a church wall. It looked almost official now, as if it belonged there. A group of young men were hanging banners with the same mark, smiling, chanting, "One mind, one world, one future."